Everyone, for those who don't know me, I'm Emma and I'm the artist behind Unsteady Art. So if you didn't see last week's video, I literally ended it about 2 minutes ago. So I have got all of these to clean and then to put the backing cards on and do everything before I go on my holidays, which is now next week. I will be recording down there, so I will be introducing you to some new stuff then. The task that I've given myself for this week is beanies. So I'm doing the whole of my collection onto beanies. This is for the Paws launch. So obviously these are going to be made a lot smaller, but this is just for me to sort of go, I want that one on there. So I've got 4 different colours. So I've got the biscuit, got one that's a bit lighter, the black, and then it's kind of like a grey cream. It's quite a nice colour, is that one. And so all 4 colours, and all of them are going to get 1 cat, 1 dog on them. Hopefully I can finish them today. If not, you'll see me a bit later on in the week. But no doubt I'll be trying to clean and photograph at the same time as well, which is going to be fun, that's for certain. So let's get on, because I ain't got time to quarrel. Right, so I've got fuzzy cat ready to go on the machine. So this is the beanies that we want it on. So I need I've also got my white stabiliser for the lighter colours as well. So I need 2 strips for this. So that goes on nicely. So making sure on this one that we've got the tag behind us. I'm wanting, because it's 5, so that will quite hold 5 quite well. You're looking about 1/2 centimetre from top, maybe a bit lower. So that's where we need it, and then we just pull it inside out. So that means we are embroidering on the front. I'll lay this down as best I can. It'll make it easier to hoop over. So all I'm doing is just bringing the weave back in so it doesn't go all over. Got my trusty ruler. That sits on the black parts, and then I just level that up to the ruler. that gives me a nice indication of whether it's straight. And then I've got that part, so don't go with that because that always curves inwards. So the top part is an indication for the middle. I need to take this off. And then this is water soluble mesh. It just means I can take it off, because if you stitch on these without anything, it will sink in and kind of looks a bit wrong. So this is just to keep the stitches high. So I do it where it's just touching the stabiliser and it covers as much as I can get it. There we go. Don't forget, beanies, we're doing it the wrong way around, so that has to be down rather than that way on. Make sure it's secured in, and then that's where that just does the work for us. So all I'm doing is just pulling the water soluble so it is there, and I know roughly about 1/2 centimetre up for where I need the embroidery part to be. So this is the first beanie that's been done. So yes, it needs improvements, but it's not far off. It just basically means the black line's just moving across slightly and skinning down the colour, because we've got a little bit of leakage over that side, which you can tell where puckering in is along there. So it's just then altering it to make it look a bit more even. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a quick photo of that how it is, so I know where it's moving on there. Then I'm going to release it out. So let's. So I've always also got the 3 sides there, because at least then we know a little bit more of where it is. So let's get it out. That's that. And that open. So these just pull off. It is kind of like the cutaway stabiliser, but if there is tricky bits, you just put a little bit of water in it and it just disappears off. And then we just have to pull those out. Oh, when we push it forward. So obviously it's going to be a little bit different, the fact that it's got a load of stabiliser in it. I'm just trying to get it as best as I can to show you. Tuck that in a bit. There we go. So I do apologise for the abrupt end. There is something that's going on with my phone camera, and it does come very apparent later on. Hi everyone. So I've had a lot of issues today. I recorded myself embroidering Cthulhu. That worked very well until I got to the black outline and the video just stopped. I then did an intro for today. That also stopped at 19 seconds. That was very bizarre. So this time round, I've updated the phone. I've updated everything that I can. I've got your own screen up at the top just to make sure that it's not completely going down. So what have I done? So I've done Cthulhu on my husband's slouchy beanie, which hopefully I can show you here. I've also done these, which I'm about to separate for you, which is embroidery care. So I did have it as garment care before, but without the information. So I thought if I did that, it's on everything. So you'll watch me do that in a second. I've also cleaned up all of the stitching for these. So I've got brown and white. I've got black and ginger dog. Did change the colours of the paws because black just doesn't, you can't see it. So sleepy cat. Stretchy. Black and white. Now this one, so black cat, white paws. This did go a little bit wrong. So on the back, I didn't raise the cat up and I put the black paws on, and obviously realised my mistake. So for photographs, I've purposely done it on the other side just so I can get that up. I can always reprint another one later on. I've got flash, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this for myself yet. Never been one for lighter colours. I'm usually quite dark. And then I've got fuzzy cat or fluffy cat, whichever I decide to say, because every time I say it, it's something different. So yeah, not all of them have turned out perfectly, just a few little sort of side bits, and they will eventually sort of taper out, but it's not bad enough where I wouldn't sell it. So that's all that. So let's get this done while I'm on camera. Just get one off for now. Okay, so absolutely fine there. On the back, the little hole has ended up literally smack bang between the S and the T, which couldn't have positioned that any better. But what I might do eventually is just lower them down. That's if it did it for all of them, because when I do it this way, it does have a lot of issues. Chasing it around. There we go. And there they are. So like I said, they don't always come out exactly the same. This one's got perfect clearance, that one's smack bang in middle between that. So it's not bad, not gonna lie. so they can be applied. So now what I need to do is clean up some of the patches, the ones that I'm missing for the photos. I need to count how many of the backing cards I've got, because I need to kind of do those, because all these are going down to the lodge next week, and I can't really do anything without the backing cards. I can't put them out, I can't change anything, so yeah, let's get counting out. So due to the phone camera issue, I can't actually record much more at the moment. I did witness it going off at one point, which it said it had 54% battery, then literally instantaneously went to 18, then to 5, and then switched off. Literally within seconds. So I don't know what's going on. The update didn't quite happen. Maybe something to do with the phone and the phone age, with it being a Google 7A. Not exactly the oldest of phones, but it's not exactly the most expensive either, so I do understand that they can go wrong. Luckily it's not my main phone, but it is usually the one that I do all the recording on. So I am going to leave it this week. If you did like this, please like, subscribe, comment. Love to hear what you're saying. And other than that, I'll see you next week when I'm having my jolly holidays. So see you next week. Bye.